Okay, Master Mason, no, Jordan Scoville coming at you. End of the week, gentlemen. Brothers, it's party time. Woohoo! Fucking let it go. No, it was a good week. I mean, it was a solid week. I like it up there. It feels like home. I mean, Johnson and Rhodes felt like home. I had to beat her into submission there, but she was already up there. I mean, she was already well behaved. I don't know, man. That goes my review the other day. I was like, I know. It's like Big Daddy's been taking care of some of them. One of those Big Daddy's been taking care of it in there. You know, they just want somebody to take her home and treat her good, and find somebody she doesn't want to just absolutely kill. And that's the spot. If that's the thermal spot, she don't need blue. She's not particular. She likes men. She likes the real men, the men that work. She's gonna be there for them. Come down on you one day, it's gonna be like, oh well, everybody. But she loves him. Can't do shit about it. And you gotta try. You gotta try to get in there, and that's gonna be by Tona every fucking swinging dick in the room. I had some gems today. Some gems working. I just don't remember them right offhand right now. What, you get them at 10 o'clock? Anyways, good week. We knocked out some material. I feel pretty good about being able to stand one-to-one with those saws and provide cushion, stock, clean, help the finisher, provide all the setup stuff. There's some operations that are two-man. We gotta do two-man. So as long as that's a thing, we're gonna be running on that. And as far as being ahead on it, there's no reason not to get pushing it. I think that's the best thing with it. There's always, for me, knowing what I know, there's always going to be a differential against what the maximum output. It's like you can't come out of 5.5-footers running back to back to back to back to back to back, like literally down to a 30-minute downtime, cleaning bays and doing stuff like that, pulling that stuff to material. I mean, V at the top. They have to be running like that. And, so anything away from that does it. Anytime you step a Sawyer off or a finisher and that stacks and there's nothing to keep it going, that always locks them up. So you start looking at the board from the side angle of it and you start going, All right, pump is pump. One is one. What is one here? I mean, if all the pumps are the same, by basic mechanics, how is it that some operations run a lot harder when you start counting out guys to operation? Sawyers, maybe an assistant, Sawyers that are their own thing, handoffs on the handoffs on the on the side, And for me, I seeing that I got all the Sawyer experience on that, it comes with the fork trucks, pulling in and out stock, doing all that stuff that our heads are what I'm going to consider my master Sawyer in this to the tread line. I mean, there's the master 5-footer, there's the master tread. And really, regardless, they're all master masons for the most part. Then really beyond that, the only thing I can say to it is you got some personal shit that gets in the way with some people. You got some freedom stuff that gets in the way with it. But beyond all that, physics is physics. All of the numbers run damn near identical, even if the stock and stone and stuff is weird because it's overnight cuts and you're playing that squishy zone in there. Cutting out billets and stuff like that, trying to get the 12, or the 24, and the 12, or the 8-inch rough end sills, stuff like that, trying to knock them down. And you're trying to guesstimate, all right, do I get the, you just measure the block. I got to have this for the order. I got to do that for that, so you look at the block, I'm going to make it 24 and 18. And a 12 if I wanted to out of it. Or, if you can't get that 18 into the 24 or whatever, and you're trying to check the next order in line, and then you lay them all, you chop them, you pull them out, you put them back in. And the only time you really have ever a problem with any of that is when you start dealing in with block you got buried out back or sample blocks. You're running cut coefficients for somebody trying to, that's really the only time that becomes a problem. See, I could grade from over on the far side and I could tell you roughly the linear footage, but that's not the order. And that makes it real hard because, you got 4-foot stock, you want to try to make 2-foot 24s or 4-foot 24s. But if you got an order of 2x2s, yeah, that makes that count different, but the square footage should round out about. But if you know what you're doing, you should be able to tighten that off. You should be able to get solid coefficients. That later on goes into, see, it's not one of those things you can just get from the inventory, because you wind up looking at a pallet and you don't know where the cutoff is. So you either got to mark a rock, or you got to do that by quarters and try to just do tallies and stuff like that. And it's it would be comparable to say, all right, what Dal would have to do, and I'm not going to make Dal do extra steps. What Dal would have to do is he'd have to every one of those tally, and for them it's not worth it there. It's just that there's going to be more in there for what it is, and they're not I would imagine so based, they're not doing quarry checks or anything like that. So and then you lay down the block, then you had the tread square footage, then you on the tread line, guys, and what's the turnover rate, what's the average standard, can you hold the average standard on maintenance games? Oh, it's so fun, just love it. Can't get enough of it. You got to go where the cutters go. In a stall, I'm never worried about it. It gets to the point. Two things. Well, I know. I mean, you can't do the quantum mechanics that I do. You can't do all side jobs and try to be referenced something for an IMA program every job in the region, that farm, that you can't do any of that and not understand. So you go about it. You go looking at that pile and you say, that's what that is. That's that job. And you wind up adding little things to it. Skills and experience is going to play huge faculties into it, because there's no way I'm going to be able to say anything without saying this statement, and it's you're not worth it until you're worth it. And stone is such a fucking hard, miserable thing until you get good with it. Until you're fast enough to stay in front of that stock, you're always going to be under it. And you never make it to the saws unless they pull you off. And if they do, boy, you're going to be behind, because that stacks somebody else. And even if that's cool, and everyone I've ever been to, it's that's a lag on something. And if it's not them bitching and mad about standing around, it's them bitching and moaning because somebody else is standing around. Every time. I'm usually the first one to hear it. And it's man, I'd love to work that problem for you. I'd love to sit you down and have the conversation. We're going to start engineering, it's not just this thing you just run out there and fucking fix the problem. And it was all, every one of them. So you go, and you really got to start battle planning. What are you going to do when you're training them? And so you're right there with them. And, it ties in with boss stuff. It's I wish I could pump it. I wish I could just show you that. And it's that can be done, but it's programming the 5-foot saws at night. You would get 5 opportunities to do that at night, which seems like a lot. And it's not, because that's over a 10-hour day. So every 2 hours you're programming a saw, in effect. It might be a little less than that, but... And that's a full bag, and you're bulldozing rock out of there. And so the same thing goes with if I took the time to train a guy, and if I do those things, then it's worth it. But there's always the other turn on that. Do they not stay? And of course, that's everybody's luxury to come, stay, lay, or pray as they please. You got better options. You do better options. You want to stay and do things right because you have better options, play the time card. That's all you got to do. It's going to make that, a rock ain't going to stop pumping. Fucking get used to it. Now, I'm going to burn rock, whether you are there or not. I love saying all the time, oh God, whether you are here or not, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. So you really get on them, you like work their form. It's yeah, you do those things with it. But it's like me, I'm big fish. Like I want my stuff to be director information technology in Delhi, which is fuck what they think. It's only because the last MIT guy got in there and was like, well, I'm fancy shit and nobody else can do what I do. Well, I got something for you that nobody else is fucking doing around here. And I try to bring that to the table every day. Every day, because it's always the mill has to be perfect. Grade stock separating outside, man. If you got to throw that stuff together for a week so you can get an hour out back to throw stock down, man, that's the difference of life and death. Anyways, like I said, she feels like home. She seems like she don't want to bite me too much. She not gunning for me. So anyway, catch you on the next one.